once said, I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerdy Optometrist. This is your host, Ukti Vora. Our guest for today is someone who might appear to be an ordinary optometrist, but his path is definitely extraordinary. He is the founder and director of Bynocs, a vision therapy software. He obtained his optometric and research training at LV Prasad Eye Institute, Chitkara University, and West Bengal University of Technology in India. His expertise lie in binocular vision, vision therapy, and visual optics. Besides his clinical practice in optometry, he has a unique blend of business management training in healthcare services. He has a vast teaching experience in the field of optometry and is attached to various institutions. As of now, along with his specialty clinical work, he has engaged himself in innovation and research on management of binocular vision disorder. He is one of the pioneers in dioptic vision therapy for amblyopia and antisuppression. It's a pleasure to have Optom Oliullah Abdal to be part of this podcast. A warm welcome, Oli. I'm so happy to have you on as a guest to our podcast.
Thank you, P, for that wonderful introduction. I think it's a lot than what I supposed to be.
Well, you have chosen an extraordinary path. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's thanks to you having me here, and I'm grateful that what you are doing is it is also extraordinary and doing wonderful things to connect optometrists to the world.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Well, let's begin with my first and my favorite question is to know how did you bump into this career of optometry? Was this your first choice or something which is a beautiful accident?
Oh, it's a very interesting story behind it. So it was a primary choice to be entered into this career. So as a child,
Right?
I had refractive error, and in my total village, I think nearby. So I belong to a small village of Bengal,
Mm-hmm.
and then eye doctors are supposed to be designated for optometrist over there.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see a MS Opthal or DNB Opthal at that vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the optometrist who take care everything, almost everything.
Interesting.
Having said that, during that phase, when I first met an eye doctor, and which is an optometrist, so he diagnosed me with this refractive error and prescribed my proper spectacle prescription at the age of 11 when I just in my middle of schooling, primary schooling. It was wonderful experience for me to see a better world through my new glasses. And that's the point of time I saw the respect that the doctor or the optometrist, so-called doctor over there, uh, the appreciation and the respect they get for this profession.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably that was the time then I felt that, oh, this is one of the best profession that one can opt for. And immediately after my 12th science, I entered to this profession, even trying for a medical admission.
That's an incredible story. I feel everyone do have a very interesting story on how they bump into this career of optometry, but yours is very unique. I have to say that. Usually it is the last choice, but for you at the age of 11 when you realize this is the path or the career you want to explore, I think this is fascinating. So thank you so much for sharing that story.
Pleasure. No, it is really at this point of time, I feel it is so interesting. That point of time, I felt it is that one of the profession that people get so much of respect and term to be a doctor. But this all learning happened to be now when we feel that we are
Mhm.
optometrists. But still, I am so proud to be optometrist and not even mentioned as a doctor.
Right. I think for the listeners who are not very much aware of the optometry profession back in India, is we are not recognized as doctors. It is still not a regulated profession back there. So even though we do have a lot of exposure and expertise, The term doctor, which is used in many developed countries where optometry is regulated, like United States or UK, do not apply back in India. But I was so happy to see how we optometrists have started using the term Optom to recognize and give that recognition to the career and the profession. Just heads up for those who are wondering, why are we calling ourselves optometrists and not doctors?
Very true. But as I mentioned, we are still proud to be an optometrist.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, taking a deep dive into your journey, I do know you have a vast experience in clinical and now into entrepreneurship as well. So, before we start talking about Bynocs, I want to know a little bit about how was your initial journey from optometry school to where you are right now.
So journey is quite long so far, as in even though it's very early stage of my career, but quite long.
Mhm,
So I started my optometry college in
mhm,
Kolkata, one of the institute under West Bengal University of Technology. So coming from a humble Bengali background,
mhm,
family, it was very challenging for me to be part of first time in completely English dominated lecture. So I was wondering in my first year that what I'm supposed to do when I'm not able to understand my lectures into the class. So it was quite upsetting for me for the especially the first semester.
mhm,
Fortunately, I got a couple of
mhm.
seniors, just immediate seniors in my uh, curriculum, and they helped me a lot to get into understanding the scope of the topic that I was being taught into the class. So, translating from English to Bengali and trying to make me understand what it is. And over a period of time, with guidance from them and so much effort that they spent on me, then probably I started learning English as well as Hindi. So, even though I was not aware of so much of Hindi language that point of time. And then slowly, by the end of my second semester, I think I started excelling in my class and being the topper. Since then, I never looked back. So it is only that first semester which gave me a lot of depression. But having said that, whenever there is a failure, you have scope to improvise, to learn more. And that was the first and foremost learning that happened in my life, that never give up even though if you're not
Expert in something, you there's always a learning curve.
yes, very true. And then since then, once I started my clinical internship, then fellowship in optometry. So every stage I learned many things in clinical practice. And apart from that, I had always interest in managerial skills. And then that was the time when I enrolled myself for MBA in healthcare sciences. And so far, the journey of or blended journey into optometry, education, clinical practice, and the managerial skills I am into. And that's the beginning of whole career in my optometry practice.
Wow, I think first of all, kudos to you. I can totally understand based on what I've heard from people that this language, when you are actually starting to learn something new, learning optometry itself is a challenge. But coming from a different lingual background, trying to first understand the language, overcoming that fear of how to communicate and learn at the same time could be really terrifying. But kudos to you, and a huge shout out to all your seniors who helped you, because without that, I think we might have not been able to see the best and the extraordinary side of you. So, thank you for that inspirational journey that you shared. And what you mentioned is the beginning, I feel, could be a career for any other people. So, from optometry to going to managerial and also following your clinical practice, I think that is incredible.
Yes, so absolutely, I owe this kind of success to those people who helped me a lot to like break the barrier in the initial stage, uh, to just mention it out. The English literature, or even the starting of our English language started only in fifth standard, so you can understand the gap that happens in a background where there is English is probably not into the culture, and how to overcome a stage
Right.
of graduation where you need to be everything in English. So it was challenging. It was overcome by the help of the people who tremendously put their effort to make me understand what it is.
And now you're talking to international people every single day. So we will talk about it a little later. Talking about your entrepreneurial path, or starting Bynocs or business, you did mention that you always had an interest, but when did you decide to go to that path? Because even before starting that, you were successfully working as a clinical optometrist in a practice. So when did you decide that, hey, I want to pursue this path?
So again, people has or have their dream with certain goals. Having said that, even though if you have a dream to pursue, it is always you need a mentor or a guide, or who can actually support your thoughts or actually recognizes your effort or work. And I'm very fortunate to have in my life a mentor or a guide in the name of Dr. Nankanis, and they are the people who understood me and actually felt that, or left me with lot of confidence that yes, I can do. And then with their inspiration, in the year of 2015 or so, we started this innovation or into a complete different platform where we can bring many and many clinical practitioner in the field of binocular vision and vision therapy.
That is amazing. I completely feel mentors do definitely play a huge role, and I couldn't agree more. Even for my journey, I do have, and I've been blessed with mentors who have supported me at each point and guided you to actually aspire and dream bigger, and give you the confidence that you can definitely achieve it. So I can totally resonate that part with you. Now, what is the most enjoyable part of being an entrepreneur?
Well, there are many. Actually, not there is no single point that
Hmm.
I wish to point out. There are many enjoyable uh, field in the field of entrepreneurship. So first and foremost, you need to love the challenges that comes across your path. And as I told you, since beginning, I love challenges.
Right.
This was the most challenging, or in fact the most enjoyable part from my entrepreneurship, where I keep on meeting new challenges and try to fulfill them, overcome them by the best way possible.
Awesome. And now tell me something. I do know that a lot of optometrists or optometrists in general in school, we are mainly trained to be a clinician or a clinical optometrist with a little glimpse of, how the industry works. The current curriculum is mainly focused on clinical expertise. How did you use all those when starting your own startup career? How did you utilize that piece into your entrepreneurship or startup career?
First and foremost, the clinical practice or the expertise that you have is very crucial. So whenever you used to get into anything, you need to be very confident what actually you are doing. So given an example, or
Hmm.
specifically in my case, I was very confident about my clinical set of work that I used to do, and what way it can make little
Hmm.
different for the people that are underserved, especially in the range of adult amblyopia in my case. So what
Hmm.
motivate uh, people like me is like, when there is a treatment protocol which is not yielding a complete resolution to a certain condition, then you are looking at something different, or a new approach how you can manage them, and that clinical subset of expertise comes into play for a better innovation. So until and you have that clinical
Right.
experience, I feel that you may not get into a complete innovation space.
Absolutely. Now, talking about innovation or a startup, I'm sure many optometrists or many individuals do have various ideas, right? But making that idea to reality could be a huge challenge. How were you able to make this a reality? How are you able to, narrow it down that this is how I want to start about it, and then, grow that startup?
It's usually it happens with the help of mentors, as I mentioned. Specifically in this
Mm-hmm.
case, what happened is, so there are close people in the in our field itself that probably suffering from the similar kind of condition. What happened to be, there
Mm-hmm.
are people who are facing this amblyopia in their adulthood and got to know only in their later stage of life, and they are very close. Now, when you try to work for
Right.
them, is actually you try to find out there should be some resolution with that kind of problem, and then you start working something
Mm-hmm.
differently, try to find out what best that can be done with the past experience from people that they are doing or working on that particular field. Now I try to
Mm-hmm.
accumulate all those practices or previous practice pattern. Then we found out, yes, something can be done even for people like adult amblyopes. So I clearly
Right.
remember there was a workshop or there was a workshop conducted by Dr. Robert Sanet in Bangalore, and I was one of them who attended the program, and that also gave me a lot of confidence. Yes, something can be done. And then we started with manual vision training program and saw very good success, and probably that
Mm-hmm.
bring the confidence of my mentor to a higher level, and like completely go ahead to start something so that we can explore beyond this manual vision training and how we can expand it to the general population. And that was the time, I think, from a manual vision training to a software based, which was a time that people to get access to the manual vision training was very difficult. It is not only
Right.
costly, it is about how to use them, and how to get them in India is the major challenge. So we worked upon
Right.
to break the barrier, that how we can make it available to everyone, and how simplified that can be done so that people can get access to it. And probably that was the right time where we got into developing the program, which is software based. And over a long period of time, probably a 2 years time, we actually got into the software from a different kind of proof of concept.
That is so amazing to learn about this journey, that an idea which you researched and led you to something that was so innovative, with a core belief of helping people who are actually suffering. So it's basically the idea was around you. You just had a knack of figuring out how can you help them. So that is so amazing. Now I have this question. Bynocs. What does that name represent, and how did you come up with that name?
So Bynocs is nothing but represents binocular vision. So if you have heard of binoculars, earlier known as Bynocs, but the spelling is a little
Mm-hmm.
different. So binoculars, again, it meant for which you can see even for a very far distance. Our vision
Right.
is like beyond the reach. We wish to reach something which is not limited to the boundaries. So we are very optimistic to reach our vision beyond that barrier or the barricade where you can see. At the same time, keeping in mind that binocular vision is the utmost importance in the human life. It's not only the monocular acuity.
Absolutely. I really love the idea behind that name. That, as you rightly mentioned, Bynocs for binocular is a different spelling, but the way you have explained it, I think that's fantastic of how you want to break the barriers and look beyond. Now, talking about Bynocs itself, it is a software based application for binocular or vision therapy. As you mentioned, it took you 2 years to even have something which is available for people. You actually are working with engineers and doctors. How has that experience been for you, working with people from different expertise?
It is wonderful journey. So when you have expertise from different field, then you get to know many more things. You get to know each other and each other's subspecialties, as in the doctor gives their inputs, the pediatric doctors give their inputs, and then comes to engineer, they talks about different uh, like from idea how that can be materialized into a computer program. So it is actually a fun and where you learn many things. And so far I have wonderful colleagues who knows exactly from a clinical thought process how that can be translated into a software program. And I love that kind of interaction. And day to day, like day and day out, I'm learning even many things from their perspective, how things actually, or how technology like augmented reality or virtual reality or artificial intelligence can bring change into our existing program.
Amazing, and I'm sure there's so much to learn when people from different expertise come together and make something so innovative. Now,
Very true.
talking about your innovation, Bynox recently won an award. Let's talk about that. Can you share a little bit about your success story?
Thank you. I think very recently there was a competition organized by ASCRS, and which is one of the topmost innovation competition in the world. It is called the Winning Pitch
Mm-hmm.
Challenge. And last year, me and my mentor, we tried to enroll for that program, and fortunately we went through. And for that, rounds and rounds of modification or challenges where you need to like give your core aspect to make them understand what it is and how you can make a different to people's life with this program, and how it can break the traditional barrier of managing a different uh, component of or different topic that doctors are already following. So those out of the box thinking, how it can make a difference for the world population, was the thought process for this winning the fish challenge. And we stood second into it, and we are proud of it because it was so good, because the competitors are at that mark where everybody had their excellent ideas how they can make a little different what the existing methodology of or the treatment or the management protocol are being accepted in the field of ophthalmology or optometry.
That is so, that's definitely one of a huge achievement. Congratulations and kudos to the entire team for the hard work that you did put up for 2 years, which led to this. And talking about, all the happy things, I'm sure it wasn't that easy. You did definitely had a rough or a tough road path to achieve this. I do know you do mention that you love challenges, but if you had to pick the difficult moments, what would that be?
So, out of many challenges, nothing can be greater than the present situation of COVID era,
Right.
where you are stuck to your the level where you are limited to get more and more people involved into it in terms of the clinical practice. And not even that, enrolling patient becomes challenging. Now, as I mentioned, as each challenge has their own merit and demerit.
Right.
So this COVID era we took as a challenge, and the merit part of it is now that we can actually enroll or evaluate patient remotely by help of television therapy program, where we remotely assess their visual function and even execute the vision training program with help of television therapy. So this is a boon in a disguise of COVID-19.
That is fantastic. I feel this COVID definitely has shown a lot of bright light or given that extra edge uh, for using technology for healthcare in general. And I think every healthcare field is experiencing the perks of how to utilize technology to help the patients. So thank you for being part of this revolution and the moment. And I'm sure there are just newer and newer technologies coming in eye care and healthcare in general.
Yes, absolutely. So there is no second thought about it that each and every day the technology is changing and inspiring our life to make it better.
I do hear you are an extremely optimistic person, but I am pretty sure in difficult moments you also do have your dull or difficult time. How do you stay focused and keep moving forward when trying to build something from scratch which probably didn't exist before you started it?
Many factors that influence your concentration, how you can be completely dedicated to the work. I think the first foremost is the family who gives you enormous support to be dedicated in whatever you are thinking and how to materialize it. It's like work of day night together, where you spend time and try to look at how you can materialize your concept to a reality. So you need a lot more dedication from your perspective, and the same time that is only possible when your
Right.
family supports you. So I'm very thankful to my family, especially my better half, so who gives me enough scope to be dedicated into my work. And the second, which is you can't deny the help of mentors. So they are the right people who guide you through to strive your dream or to reach the success of any concept or any task. So these are the two very crucial factor. I think you or someone can remain focused to their particular work.
Now, talking about, entrepreneurship or trying to achieve something new, I'm sure we are all trained or tuned to be an optometrist. But when you decided to choose this path of startup and building something, according to you, what are the important characteristics or skills which is very important to be a startup or an entrepreneur?
So when you start building upon some program or some business aspect, one need to have a clear idea what it is. Once the idea is there, you need to find out the scope of that idea, how much impact that can create into the society. I think that gives lot value to your project. So if your
Right.
program or the business aspect can bring change or a positive impact into the society, I think that's going to be a success model. Having said that, when you look at that parameter, then you need to have a business plan with you, a proper financer to
Mhm.
you. But the later one or the last one is very much possible only when you have a concrete idea and you are confident what you are doing is going to make a positive impact and a business plan.
Right. Absolutely. I think I really want to point out one another very important aspect is when anyone is doing this research, as you mentioned initially, we need to have an unbiased research or an idea when you're looking into how useful the project or the idea would be. Many times I do feel people fail because just to make it happen, you might just think that this is the best way to go and it is actually helpful. You need to go with a neutral mind and explore the good and the bad before you come up with the plan.
Very true. And that can be extremely well executed if someone of your own you are trying to do or making a change for that or their particular life. So, in this case of changing someone which is very close from amblyopic to a better visual function is nothing like that you can materialize into a good success. So I
Right,
feel when you try somebody close to you or on your own, and that has the maximum unbiased thought process.
right. So someone who can actually point out and be very honest in their opinion. I think that's very, very important.
Very true.
Wonderful. So we did talk a lot about entrepreneurship and your success stories. Now I want to talk a little bit about the fun side of you. So we're going to now enter to my fun segment, which I like to call the rapid fire. I can assure you there's going to be a lot of fun. If you're ready, let's dive into the fun segment of it.
Let's see how much fun I can bring onto you and the audience. I'm not sure though. Let's try.
All right, let's begin. My first question: if you were not an optometrist, what other career or profession you think you would be in?
Very difficult, as I told you that it was very early stage of my life that when I thought of being an optometrist. So I wonder what could be little different, and probably a role of an administrator. I think that could have been a second one.
Interesting. Now, I do know we are in lockdown and we are not able to travel, but which is your favorite travel destination that you have been or you would wish to go?
So usually higher altitudes is the place I like, and
Any particular destination or place that you would like to share?
not really any higher altitudes I like.
That's amazing. I hope you are able to travel soon, but with safety.
Yes,
Now, talking about food, I love this. So, which is your favorite cuisine?
any Bengali recipe. And a fun point to bring out, I also explore cooking very often. So I'm one of the guy who try different kind of recipes to prepare myself. And this habit is since my 10th standard. So where I used to stay with my friend in a room for my education, like traveling and all those things, and
Mm-hmm.
I love cooking and lot of dishes that I keep exploring.
Maybe chef could be another career or a profession option for you rather than administrator. You're already doing all that. Maybe I would take chef to be another professional option for you then.
Probably I should enroll myself in one of the competition then to explore.
Definitely. We'll be looking forward and we'll be definitely cheering for you. Uh, Now, rank in the order of your preference. What do you love to do the most? Clinical practice, teaching, or working in your startup, building something from scratch. Which rank in the order of your preference?
Great. To order my preference, it's always I love teaching. At the same time, the
Mm-hmm.
clinical practice helps me to teach everyone, and the entrepreneurship is a bonus to it.
Oh, that's a very nice way to put it together. Even though you did rank it, but it was a nice way how you wrapped up the reason behind it. So I love that answer. Now, if we were to write an autobiography about your journey, what would you like the book to be titled as?
Bynocs man.
Ah, nice. Bynocs, man. Love it. What is your idea of time off? Do you like to just watch series like Netflix and chill or travel? What is your idea of vacation?
Vacation, in terms of my favorite time that I do lot of utilization in terms of knowing the current affairs. So I'm actually what do you say, heavy reader about the news and current affairs. So wherever I go, it's actually
Wow.
I keep on reading news articles or innovations or research articles that comes into my mailbox. So I have subscription almost each and every current affairs journals.
Wow, that's amazing and very serious, but I liked it.
Yeah, something different. So
Yeah, very different, very different. But I think that's what keeps you going, right? I feel that's where your entrepreneur skills and that spark comes out.
probably so.
Now, if there was one thing that you could change in the optometry curriculum or add something in an optometry curriculum, what would that be?
So in the graduation level, what the basic level or the most common level in our country in India, our optometry curriculum is
Mm-hmm.
more focused on the theoretical aspect, which for me also throughout my 3 years, more and more of theoretical knowledge that I used to get in my college. But for the scope of clinical training and taking the challenges or thinking something outside the box, I think there should be a right kind of program incorporated even in undergrad level to get more and more innovation and more ideas in the field of optometry.
Absolutely. So, a last question for this rapid fire is what is one message you would like to give to younger self?
Right. So it's going to be passionate whatever you are doing and what you try to do. Keep confidence yourself so that you bring it the maximum out of you.
Well, I think the younger Oli was already doing that, but yeah, I think your message could actually bring in more and more innovation in him. I'm pretty sure. So thank you so much for this wonderful rapid fire. It was definitely fun, and thank you so much for sharing all that this inspiring answers. Now, before I let you go, what is one advice or a takeaway message you would want to give to my listeners?
So out of many, I think one is very important that the message I want to convey. Whichever dream you have, please try to
Mm-hmm.
find only one which can be materialized into reality and stick to that. Once you pursue that, the road of success is definitely going to come. Somebody or somehow will guide you to reach that success. So stick to your thought process, which is realistic in nature, and never give up until you reach your goal.
Wow, that is truly inspirational, and thank you so much for such a motivative conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm very sure everyone listening to this podcast will be truly, truly inspired and will definitely try to make some extraordinary difference and try to chase their dreams like you did. Thank you once again for your time and sharing all your insights. It has been a pleasure.
It's absolute my pleasure to interact with you, Pri, and definitely it is so privileged to interact and convey the life journey in a small time or small time frame, and which is exciting. Actually, I never felt that so many things happen, and then we need to share with somebody or outside the world. And thank you so much for bringing this topic.
Truly my pleasure. For all the listeners, I will be adding Bynocs website link in the description. Do check it out. Their software is amazing. I did a demo myself, and the way they have brought the binocular vision and vision therapy in the software is worth exploring. So do check it out, and you can also connect with him either on LinkedIn or through email. And he's been an amazing person to connect with, and I'm sure he can be definitely a mentor for many. So thank you once again for your time, and it has been a pleasure.
Thank you having me here and best wishes for everyone.